Hey Jason, this is the third video for the first week of June. We'll start with dictation. So remember what we went over was all about introducing the minor scale and the idea of relative minor keys. So since we are starting to talk about minor, we're going to do a dictation in a minor key. Okay, so you can see this has the key signature of F major, but the first note is D, which suggests that this melody is going to be in D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good. Okay, and I'm telling you, yes, this is in D minor. But if you were ever in a situation, often on like the advanced placement music theory tests that happened across the nation, people are given just this, and it doesn't actually tell them, oh, this is in D minor. But they infer that it's in D minor because they see the key signature for F major, but then they're like, oh, the first note is D. And then they also, because they've been studying theory, they know that D minor is the relative minor to F major, so they say, oh, looks like this is going to be in D minor. Okay, so here's the dictation. Again, it's in D minor. As we've always been doing, it ends with just a long whole note. It's in 4/4. I'm keeping the jumps to a minimum. There is one small jump that's bigger than a step. Other than that, it's all stepwise motion. Okay, time to play the dictation for you a couple times with this excellent camera angle. Maybe I should just go ahead and order a phone stand. Okay, I'll play it on a guitar this time. And the notes are a little bit lower than you're used to hearing for dictation, so I think that'll be good for you. Okay, here goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's the melody. I was sort of bobbing my head in time. Good. The video's still working. Sometimes it randomly stops and then I have to start over. Pause if you need to, but I'm about to do the melody again. Here it is again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and I'll do it one more time for you. Oh, whoa. That is not going to be okay. I'll do it one more time with a metronome. I accidentally turned it way up to 214 beats a minute, which would be way too much. Da, 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 da. Let's do it a little slower. 60 beats a minute. Da, 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 da. Okay, here goes. Hopefully you can hear the metronome and, if it helps. This is the last time I'll play it, so you can pause and replay as many times as you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it for that. Again, replay as much as you want. Okay, and I'll turn off that metronome. And time to talk about some more stuff. Oh, whoa, don't want to give away the dictation. Hello. Okay, so next actually let me talk about the homework for this week. And then I'll spend any remaining time talk about conducting and rehearsing a band. Okay, so here's the page, right? This is the theory we went over. It's a huge concept, relative minors and majors, and just the structure of the minor scale. Excuse me. Okay, so here's, and obviously I'll send you this page as I always do, and I'm also going to send you this page. And this is to help solidify the idea of finding the relative minor scale for each major scale. These are some major scales that I've picked out. This is not all the major scales, but this is probably the extent of anything you'll see in band music. So I left out a couple of the really, intense ones. But this is a good shot. I mean, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is 9 of the 12 major scales. So it's almost all of them. Find and write the relative minor scale for each major scale. So here is the major scale. It is given. But I didn't tell you the letter name of it. I figured that'd be nice for you to work that out, okay? But I'll just kind of go over the first one as an example. This first one, there are no sharps or flats. This is C major, and here's the C major scale. So what I'd want you to do is write C major here. And then over here you write what the relative minor is. Remember, to find the relative minor, you find the 6th degree of the major scale, and then you start on that note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A. A is the 6th degree of the C major scale, and so A minor is the relative minor to C major. So over here, you would draw an A minor scale, and you would write A minor up here. All right, and that's what I want you to do for all of these. Just a little note. Actually, let's look at the second one because this is another one that I gave as an example in the previous page. This is the F major scale. 1, 2, 3. So you would write F major here, or F if you want. F major. Okay, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the 6th note. It is the note D. Therefore, D minor is the relative minor to F major, right? That means that D minor has the same key signature, which is 1 flat, just B flat. That's the key signature for both F major and D minor. So over here you would write D minor and you would draw the D minor scale. Now the reason I'm pointing this out is look at this. Here's D, it's right here. If you draw the D minor scale starting on this D, it's going to go way up high and it'll be a hassle to draw all the ledger lines that you'll need to write the scale up here. So you shouldn't start on this D, you should start on this one down here. Okay, so that's another thing about this is choose the appropriate octave to write the minor scale in. It won't always be the same note as right here. You're going to want to drop this one down an octave and start from there to write the D minor scale. Okay, and here we have B flat major, etc. So that's what you do for this page. Feel free to email me if you have a question. But yeah, you're just going to find the relative minor to each major key signature and write it out. And that way you'll learn a bunch of minor scales, almost all of them. Because again, this is most of the major scales. So you will find most of the minor scales this way. Okay, so that's part of the homework. I gave a lot of homework this week. Hopefully that's okay. I don't know if you have a lot of extra free time because of our curfews and quarantines. Boy, this is a wild time, isn't it? Okay. So anyway, let me look at this for a moment. Actually, no. Let's just go straight to the homework that I'm sending you. Okay. I'm going to scan these 2 pages of this clarinet book that I've been using for you. By the way, we've moved on to clarinet book 3. I don't know if I told you that. We were on book 1 before, but now we're up a couple levels because you've been doing so well with learning the rhythms and stuff. I'd like to revisit compound meter. Hopefully that doesn't, kill you. 6/8. So let's just briefly review this compound meter. 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, right? You can either write this as 1 and a 2 and a. You could just think of it as 2 triplets in a row. So this is sort of like 2/4, except it's all triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a, or of course this would be 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, right? 1, 2, 1. Okay. 12/8. Whoa. 12/8 is like is, again, compound meter. It's like 4/4, but it's just 4 triplets in a row. So this can be counted as 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Okay. Here's another 12/8, same deal, right? 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 1, blah, blah, blah. More 12/8. So please write out the counts to this. Write out the solfege to this. You're analyzing, and sing them. You're analyzing the melodies and learning how to sight sing, working on your ear training and all that. Okay, and then here's the other thing I want you to do. And then, okay, so same thing over here. Go ahead and write the counts in. We have a few little dotted rhythms and stuff. I think it'll be good for you to write the rhythm counts for these two, and write the solfege. And I want you to write what key it's in. Okay, so here's more of what I talked about before. The concept of how each key signature has 2 potential keys that it could mean. We've used F and D minor a few times. Okay, so as you probably recall, the relative minor to F major is D minor. So when you see this key signature, just one flat, B flat, that means the song could be either in F major or D minor. And so I want you to look at each of these melodies and tell me, and write down somewhere, on here, whether it is F major or D minor. So how can you tell? Okay, 1, if you sing through or play through the melody, you might be able to tell just by the feeling of how it sounds, whether it's major or minor. Another clue, the starting note and the ending note. This melody starts on F, and it ends with a long F. That's a huge clue that this is an F major. However, if it started on D and ended on D, it's probably in D minor. Okay, and then another clue happens from accidentals, and I haven't really talked about it that much yet, but, so here's another one. Look at where it begins and ends. Now this is interesting. This doesn't begin on an F or a D, but look at the last note and see what it ends on, and that'll help you. Also, if you think of the 1 chord in F, this starts on one of the notes in the 1 chord on F, right? Do, mi, so. Let's look right here. Song of the Weeping Spirit. Again, this might be in either F major or D minor. Look at the start notes, look at the end notes, and think about what you think this is. Same thing here. Look at the start, look at the end. This is another, okay, you know what? I'm actually just not even going to talk about this until next time, but you can get more clues on what key you're in by looking at the accidentals. It's too much for this time. We've already gone over a ton. Okay, so that's a bunch of homework. Just for a little more example of figuring out what key things are in, I want to look at the papers from last week again. And I'll just go through these and tell you whether they're in the major or the relative minor. Okay, so here we go. Here we have this one. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, right? It's in D major. It's in D major, right? It starts on Do, D. It ends on D. This is D major. It's not the relative minor to D major, which is B minor. It is not that. It's D major. Let's look at this. I see this signature. That's either going to be D major or B minor. And then I just look. Oh, it starts on F sharp. Well, then I'm not really sure. Let's look at the end. It ends on D. This is in D major. This is probably in D major. This is not like an end-all, perfect way to tell. Although, in a book like this, these are pretty simple melodies, so you'll be able to tell. Okay. Here we are. This key signature. This is either D major or the relative minor, B minor. It starts on D. Whoa. Interesting. Maybe it's in D major. It also ends on D. Shoot. But this is, well, okay. Actually, this is a weird example. This is actually quite unclear. What this actually does is it kind of goes back and forth between D major and B minor. We have do, mi, re, do, ti, si, la, do, mi. This little section is very indicative of B minor. La, do, mi. That is minor. That's huge minor. Remember when we talked about La minor last time? In the key of B minor, La, do, mi is a 1 chord. And when you add this A sharp, if you get the solfege syllable C, a raised 5, it's like leading to the La, and it really hints at the relative minor key. That's the thing I was just saying that I wasn't going to talk about, but now I am. So this kind of switches between B minor and D major. So this is a hard example. La, so, fa, mi, so, re. Like La, it's a little bit minor-y. Okay, so I don't know. That's a little tough. Let's look at this. This is straight up B minor, right? Here's the key signature. It could be D major. It could be B minor. It starts on B minor. We have La, ti, do, re, do, ti, do, la, ti, do, ti, la, ti, so, la, si, mi. That's total B minor. And it also ends on B, okay? And there's an A sharp right before the B, emphasizing the B. Si, la. So this is 100% B minor. It's in the relative minor to the major key signature that we see. Okay, so that's just like a little example of analyzing the melodies to see what key they're in. How about this one? The key signature suggests D major. Wait, did I already... Now I can't remember if I did this page already. How weird of me. I better stop soon. I'm also running out of time. Anyway, mi, do, mi, re, do, do, so, do, ti, do, mi, so, mi, re, do, so, do, ti, do. That's huge D major. It sounds major. It's focusing on do, do, so, do, ti, do, right? It ends on do. It starts sort of on do. I mean, it's got a mi. Okay, D major. Boom. Let's just finish up with this Sirirum song. Key signature says D major. It could be D major or B minor. It starts on D. Do, re, mi, fa, so, mi, re, mi, fa, so, la, so. That's super major, and it ends on D as well. So that's D major. Okay, I don't know. That's about it. I'm going to have to save the conducting stuff for next time because I ran out of time, and I'm sorry about that. So I'll talk more about this next time. Hopefully you've enjoyed this very music theory-esque lesson, because I do think it's important for a conductor to understand music theory, and especially just basic things about whether you're in a major or a minor key, because the whole idea behind this is you're going to you're going to want to know if your band music is in the major key that it looks like, or if it's in the relative minor. All right. Okay, hope you're doing well with all this, with these trying times. See you next week. Actually, I won't see you. You'll see me.